Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Alrighty guys, welcome. How are we, ladies and gents? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another big week on the charts. Let's see what we can come up with, even if we can continue on from what has been some pretty good form so far this March and throughout the year. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. YouTube, also, if you could let me know the music isn't too loud. I've finally found a playlist I think I can play without interruption, so pretty happy with that. Yeah, so you guys let me know that music's not too loud, and as always, good morning, good afternoon, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well, and let's get the show on the road moving forward here today. Let's have a good one, guys. So first of all, let's start with the news and let's see what there is moving forward here today. There is nothing really in way of our session unless anything breaks. However, we do have some high impact US dollar news to come later on. Pretty big week, to be honest. I think Wednesday and Thursday are the big days. We do have FOMC. Let me do it again. I think it's Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday. So we've got that. We've got also on Thursday, big day for the pound, a really big day for the pound, and also for US dollar. So that is the main day to look forward to this week. We'll look ahead towards. But otherwise for today, nothing that really should have much of an impact on our session here today. So guys, without further ado, if you could make sure YouTube, you guys know the drill, hit that like button, TikTok, smash that screen for me, let everyone know we are back on stream yet again, and let's do what we do best and analyze the charts, guys. And let's start with the beast, that is the gold. So the gold broke that magic 3k barrier. For me, I've said it all along, it's a matter of time. Though, especially on YouTube, you guys probably remember I've been calling for this, for the 3k level for months now, and it has hit. So good to see. Higher time frame direction was correct. Does it mean can we continue on? I think obviously there is a good chance that we could continue to the upside, but perhaps could we pull back in between? So let's see, once we do the analysis, what might give us that sort of confidence that we may make a little bit more of a pullback. But anyway, guys, let's start with the weekly time frame. And what we can see is that previous weekly did close back yet again very strong bullish candle, and we did close at a new all-time high. So based off that, very strong bullish. Now what I'm going to do is mark in the previous resistance, and that's just above the 50% of that zone, from top to bottom to top. What we can see is it lines up with that 0.382, so that could be potentially a good level for price to pull back to in order to grab some more liquidity before it potentially heads back up. So what we will see though is in between it, we're going to have a structure flip prior to it on the 30-minute time frame, which could give us potential for some pullback sells. However, even if we are in the sells, what I'd still be doing, irrespective of the 30-minute structure, may be bearish, or even a daily counter probabilities that's just moving forward a little bit further into the week. Even if the daily counter probabilities are to the downside, I would definitely still consider the buys above this 29, 56, 57 sort of region. On to the daily time frame, guys. I can just remove that fib, and what we can see is on the daily, well, we did close back a bearish candle after all on Friday. However, we are bullish in structure, but below that previous daily candle's low is likely. So I'm just going to remove the current daily candle's low. Below that previous daily candle's low is likely where we could get involved in some potential sell options. We're gonna need to wait for one little confirmation prior to looking for that sell low, which we'll soon see and establish on the 30-minute time frame. So technically bullish in structure. No, not much in regards to counter probabilities within the current candle. We are an inside bar candle. Let's see what we've got above the current daily candle's high, and once we go down more so to the minor time frames. Now onto the 4-hour, and that is also technically bullish, and it is very bullish, and won't at this rate flip back bearish well until the exact same level basically as the 30-minute by the looks of it, this support. And I just drag that down to the lowest point, which is that previous daily candle's low, and closures below that point there, I'd use that whole area, would confirm a structural flip on the 4-hour. So we could almost have a dual catalyst for the sells if you have a correlating with a 4-hour closure below that support, below the previous daily candle's low, plus the 30-minute, then you flip structure on 2 time frames, which would give you more confidences to look for any potential well, at that point it'd be neutral sells, but any pullback sells. We're also going to mark in resistance currently at just above the daily high. So what we can see is we've got this 4-hour zone that we're currently stuck with, and just consolidating. Probably going to look decent on the other side of it. 30-minute, not great. All right, so on the 30, and I'm just going to adjust this a little bit, and we're likely going to have to drag this down, to be honest, once we go down to the 15-minute time frame. So as we can see, we're kind of in the middle of this 30-minute, well, the 4-hour range. The issue to the upside is we're running straight into some more resistance. To be honest, guys, I'm finding it very difficult to find any clean levels to the upside, other than literally back above the resistance formed at the all-time high. Let's quickly go down to the 15-minute time frame. Is there anything? I mean, you could probably now drag that up to that point, and maybe some options to buy it above 29.95 to take it up to 29.98 if you can squeeze out some pips in that. But otherwise, you're just that pretty solid level within price action. So for me, what I'd be looking for today, and I'm just going to drag this down to that point there. So 30-minute structure will technically flip really below this point here, but what we can see is it is a hell of a lot cleaner once we start to pop below 2976.48. That point, like I mentioned, we're likely going to have the 30-minute structure flipping back bearish. So that could give us that catalyst, maybe along with the 4-hour structure, to look for a further pullback sell. So for me, you're waiting to see our price approaches is 29.80. If we start to sink below it and below is 76.50, that is when I am going to first of all start to contemplate some sell options moving forward here today. I would prefer to buy it otherwise, because the fact of the matter is we are in a big strong uptrend. There is no catalyst just yet to suggest that we may pull back deeper. So I'm going to stick with the trend and look for my buy options. So as I mentioned, for the buys, guys, options are pullbacks. We'll be looking for a pullback, retest this 4-hour/30-minute level. If we do form support, first of all, and we get our signal within price action, I would definitely be looking for the buys upon the pullback. Now, I could pull back to just a little bit higher up. That's fine, because it is one big level of support. So it doesn't necessarily have to come all the way back down towards that 29.80. Really anywhere at 29.83 sort of region would suffice. But either way, I want to wait patiently for my price action catalyst to look for the option to buy it. And once again, based off the 15 and maybe some further options at this point, but looking at the 30, it's very tough because you're running straight into wicks here to the left. What if we do that? Yeah, I'm finding it difficult, in all honesty, guys. In this sort of circumstance, under these circumstances, what I usually prefer, and I always say to my guys, we don't need to be necessarily first to the move. The better option is just to wait for it to create an impulse up. And if it is to create that clean move, fantastic. Because what that does to me suggests that we've had no real concern about this resistance here to the left. And if all we're looking for is a bit of a minor pullback, create that high low, look for support to form. And that is, in my opinion, a higher probability entry if that was to present. So that's kind of what I might be looking at for a buy above the resistance at 29.9420 roughly. So doesn't mean I'm just going to buy it above it. I may consider buying it just on a closure above, but we'll have to wait and see. That is gold, guys. Not interested in selling it in between. It's a Monday. My rules are on a Monday, stick with the overall bias unless there is a catalyst, which I don't have just yet, and stick with the strength of that previous weekly candle, which was obviously a very strong bullish one. So that is gold. I'm just going to remove this zone for the time being, so we're miles off it, and focus on the most recent ones. Meantime, smash that like button, guys, and we'll have a look at my other pair, GJ. Let's see what GJ's up to also here today. Alrighty. Looking first of all at weekly time frame. Now, what this candle suggests to me is we've grabbed some liquidity from the downside. Not only that, we've actually managed to close above the most recent resistance on the weekly time frame. So that all bodes well for potential continuation above that previous weekly candle's high. The issue is, I think that wick on the weekly, just a little bit further to the left, is a daily resistance. So we're likely going to think we'll mark that level in that 193.172 level. Now, I will call this candle strong bullish. I would mark it in from the open to the high, and I'd say it's close above the 50%, the body of the candle. So therefore, I'm calling it strong bullish. So there is a good chance that we could continue based off that to the upside. Onto the daily time frame. Now, this is where we've got some conflicting stories in regards to the higher time frame, because we technically are bearish on the daily time frame. We do have counter probabilities to the upside, but we currently are sat at a very strong level of resistance. What is wrong with this music? Sorry, guys. Currently sitting at a very strong level of resistance. It's not only any level, it is the last significant lower high. So a closure above this 193.172 on the daily time frame would technically flip that back bullish in line with the previous weekly. That, once again, would give us a signal for a potential further move to the upside here on GJ. Just going to mark in the current daily candles low and see if we do have any sort of catalyst below it to sell it, seeing we are at the resistance. Onto the 4 hour, and this is where I'm going to start to mark in my levels. And what we can see is on the 4 hour, we're still bullish based off this. Or are we? Actually, let me look at this. We are bullish, but based off this move. I made a little bit of mistake with my team. It's based off this move, not this move. But anyway, still bullish nonetheless. Counter probabilities to the upside above the daily high. Now, looks like there could be a little bit of margin up to the resistance here on the 4 hour. So we're just going to mark that in. We're going to zoom out. You can see it is a 4 hour / daily level. So I'm going to mark in that whole level. As far as most recent support, actually down here. So we're quite a distance off it. So at this rate, it looks like we'll be looking for pullback buys. Unless there's a potential sell option in between. Or continuation buys. So now we can move on to the 30-minute, and that is technically bullish in structure. This is the highest point the market's gotten to. This is the two counter pullback in the opposite direction. Therefore, we are technically bullish, marking the resistance at the current daily candles high. And let's measure this. Do we have the margin upon continuation for a buy? Let's just quickly measure it. Tough, potentially. It will all depend on how far above we close. Impulse entries could be valid. It depends on the approach though. So you guys who watch me on the regular will know my rules as far as in regards to the impulse entry. Has to close above 50% from the bottom of this zone to the top of this zone. And that would be a strong enough closure to suggest the impulse entry could be valid. So buys above, I would consider. Buys above the current daily candles high upon continuation. Now the most recent support we have formed at just recently at this point. We're not flipping any structure below it, so I'd be breaking my rules if I was to look for a buy. The only time I may consider if I was to look for a sell, the only time I may consider that as a potential sell option is once we come closer to MY open, we've got more data printed throughout the day. And if we are to reject, and this potentially could be the daily high, maybe just then I would consider a counter trend sell, but very risky. Structure, it's similar here to gold. So we actually flipped below this 192, 170 sort of region, but got some support directly below it. So I'd rather it below 191, 970, and below that point, you're also below the psychological round number 192 flat. So for me, I'd basically be looking for buys anywhere above this blue zone to take it back up, in line with the strength of that previous strong bullish weekly candle, in line with the actual bias, which is technically bullish. And for me to consider more probable sells, I'd rather wait for that catalyst and confirmation of the structure flipping bearish, wait for closure below, retest, and we can see we've got some very clean traffic back down towards that 191.50 sort of region. So that is my current opinion of GJ, guys. Now I will give you guys the potential option for the counter trend sell if it does present, even if I'm not taking it, seeing it is a Monday and I trade with the line in line with the strength of the previous weekly on a Monday and the overall bias preferably. So that is GJ and gold, guys. Hope you guys understand the analysis and hope you guys appreciate it. And let's see if anything presents. At the moment, waiting for a pullback on gold. I'll give you guys the counter trend option if it does present as well. For me, it's technically not valid just yet. For there to be a valid counter trend entry, for me, I need a little bit of minor support to form on 15 perhaps, and if price begun to break that minor support, that could be the option. But for the time being, no support in 15, just bullish, bearish. So it's no 30-minute engulfing candle or anything like that. So time to chill. Time for questions. Who we got here today? Tony Gold, appreciate you. Beats as always. Carl, wow, same names, appreciate you guys as always. Steve, Phil, hope you guys are doing well. And TikTok. Won't get through all your names. There's a few too many at the time being, but I appreciate you all for joining. HYX, $80 per popcat. Fantastic. That's a meme coin, isn't it? No name. Thoughts on GJ? So I've just been over it. I assume you caught it. Yeah, preferring the buys. I will give the counter trend option if it does present. But again, it's not only for myself, because I know if I stick to being disciplined and trading from like my plan, which suggests Monday, I need to. There's not a great deal of data printed at this point, so I prefer to trade in line with the strength for that previous weekly. There is a reason. It's not just because I've chosen to do it. It's just from experience. But it's a trade in line for strength of the previous weekly and the overall bias, unless there is a catalyst, which this rate would be a 30-minute structure flip. I don't have any of that, so I just need to patiently wait for the option to buy it. But I will give you guys the potential sell option if it does present. I'm trying to prove a point, especially to my guys, that discipline and patience is the most important thing when it comes to trading. A lot of people probably think I'm a boring trader. That's why I don't get much love on YouTube. But I mean, if they go through all the streams, I think my win rate is probably, from what I've seen, it's the best. Or if not, in the top couple. Definitely in the top couple. That's because all about patience and discipline. Don't need to be involved every 2 seconds. All right, what else have I missed? Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through, working my way back through the chat. All right, what up? So Christian Rodriguez, thank you, welcome. Good broker to start. Unfortunately, I can't recommend anything because I'll get a ban, so I've got to be really strict with it. So unfortunately, mate, I can't recommend anything. Milan's ooze is butcher that. There will be no pullback. It will push to 3,000 now. The pullback has, what's that, 29.81. That's fair enough. If that's your opinion, that's totally fair enough. I said before, it doesn't necessarily need to pull back. So could definitely be right. What else? E-Fits side. Oil. Gold, yep, so been over gold. EJ, can I teach you how? Guys should be intelligent enough to work out how to find out more about what I do. And I can't direct you to anything, I'll get a ban. Use at what point I think pullback? Well, what would give me more confirmation that we could potentially pull back is once the structure flips, and that's below this area here. Closure below it, we'll flip some structure in the minor time frames, and that's when we could have potentially a deeper pullback. No name, love me stuff, bro. It's better to follow you. Well, it's a good idea because of the fact that we'll get that final ban any moment on TikTok. I'm on my last strike, so it's always a good idea. So it's the same profile now. User 193, don't you think sell from there? 193. Yeah, definitely could be, but again, my rules on a Monday. But definitely, if it was Tuesday and moving forward into the week, once I've had a bit more data printed, then I would definitely consider it the sells. But again, I have rules to follow because they work for me, and they really help keep me on a straight and narrow, and they help me enormously to make sure I'm on the right side of things and not doing stupid shit like overtraining and So I'm just being strict and following the rules. Doesn't mean you guys have to have those rules, just what works for me. But man, appreciate it. 20 gold, honestly, once you master them two things that you mentioned, it makes trading open up a lot more. Education, development, and the make money. Yep. So true. Patience, discipline, following your plan, all that sort of stuff. It's the toughest part by all means of trading, because trading's boring. You feel like you want to get involved. But there's reasons why we should have a plan, and people say, yeah, bullshit, don't need it. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. If it works for you, fantastic. Fantastic. But for me, I need some rules, because that's what works for me. Hack the matrix. Yeah, like I mentioned before, potentially it could be a pullback on gold, but nothing yet gives me the indication that we're ready to pull back. BGT, Juffman, good morning to you. Yeah, so being over GJ, preferring the buys, I will give you the potential counter trend sell option if it does present, but again, my rules as per a Monday, very in line with the strength of that previous weekly, and also in line with the bias, unless I have a catalyst, and I don't have that catalyst. I need a 30-minute structure to flip before I have any sort of catalyst. Aesthetics in Nvidia. Yeah, I don't look at stocks. I don't like looking at equities. I don't like gaps. I don't trade them. So, yeah. Driver? No, my own PC. Piano? US 30. This is one I don't like charting much, to be honest, because it also always got gaps. I don't trade it. So there we go, weekly. It's open with a gap to the downside. A lot of people believe those gaps must be filled. Let's just mark in the closure of that previous weekly candle, and I'm of the belief that it's a chance it will get filled, and at some point it's likely to, but doesn't necessarily have to happen. Not immediately anyway. Could happen moving forward. Looking at the daily, structure-wise, it's bearish. Pretty sure this is in a downtrend, other than maybe the 30-minute may flip based off that previous daily candle. Got to mark in that previous daily high, see what got above it. But structurally, it is bearish. It has tapped into some previous support, which was resistance here to the left, and so far it's respecting it. So looking at it below that previous weekly, daily. The weekly though, sorry, running into some support here to the left. Not going to be easy, but on the looks of it, 4 hour is also bearish in structure. Lord, yeah, you got that level there. It looks okay below that level. Let's just mark that in. That lines up with pretty much these lows, so just as slightly on a 4 hour, on a 30-minute surely. But we know we're bearish on the 4 hour, so everything is so far to the downside. Just mark that in as resistance. Members, here's the link, by the way. Apologies. Now onto the 30-minute time frame, and has it flipped? Is it bullish? Yeah, I'd argue it is. Closed above this swing point. Yeah, it's bullish until really these lows, this support here, 40,880, 96 roughly, 40,896. An ugly chart, in all honesty. But for me, I'd be looking for, if this were gold or GJ, I'd have potentially a catalyst in the next few minutes. And that being the 30-minute bearish engulfing play. So if it was close to NY session, I'd be looking for the sells based on that. I'd be looking for accounts closed bearish engulfing, and then I'd look to sell it below it. Seeing it's not NY, I doubt the volume this time of day, so I personally will not touch it. Otherwise, if it closes strong, bearish engulfing and potential limit order back below of that bullish candle. Otherwise, buys above this swing point here. Not flipping. Well, it's flipping the micro trend back in line with the actual 30-minute structure. And therefore, it's likely going to fill that gap at that point. So I'd be looking at buys above the most recent resistance form within a current daily candle. 15-minute closure above would suffice. 15 or M30. And I'd still look to sell it irrespective of the 30-minute structure, seeing it is the overall bias is technically still bearish and based on that previous weekly candle. So that's my opinion of it. Make of that what you will. I don't trade it. What time do you trade London session, China? Well, London session is open in 42 minutes from now, but I start trading from about quarter to, it just depends where you're from, mate. Probably from about 30 minutes ago, basically, when I really start to focus on the charts. Keanu, all good?
Hey fellas, how's it going?
All good, mate. All good. Welcome, welcome.
Cheers.
I start to your day. Good to see you followed your plan.
Yeah, thanks man, appreciate that.
That was good work.
Now the hard bit is just not touching the fucking markets again till
Not doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
until it presents. It is the hardest part, but just chill and you'll be alright, mate. You'll be alright.
Yeah.
But nah, well done. It's good to see you got involved where your plans get involved. That's the main thing. Nice 15-minute and 30 closure, by the way. It's a pretty nice closure. Little bit of resistance here, but I think it's worth, in such strong uptrend, it's worth getting involved in anticipation it could break through that level. Looks like it actually tapped in and pulled back a little bit. Literally into it and then made a bit of a pullback, created a lower wick, and off she went. But yeah, not a bad entry. I think you were involved from here though, weren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped in down there somewhere and then I pretty much pulled out at like nearly the highest point and I was like, that's good. I had like 3 open trades, like 2 lots, 2 like 0.02 or whatever.
Yeah.
And one at one lot or 0 point whatever it was. So then
Nice one.
like $280 or something, or maybe I think it was, yeah, maybe 180, which is pretty good for, yeah.
Nice one.
I was pretty happy with that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, just focus on doing things right and the rest will come eventually, so.
Yeah.
And there's a name I haven't seen popped up in the members chat for a while now, Mr. Anthony Webb. Hope you're well, my friend. Feel free to say hello. Sorry, mate. You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Good to hear. Good to hear the voice. The man, the myth, the legend. Just so it hasn't changed. Hasn't changed at all, have you?
Try not to.
No, I was seeing my friend.
Yeah, not bad.
Yep.
The algo. I told you what happened with that, did I?
Not really, but we'll save that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll save that.
Not great.
But yeah, that's, by the way, not on my algo. On my
Not yours.
no. But yeah, we'll save that for maybe just between us. But yeah, good to have you on board here today.
Yeah, nice to see you again, mate.
Likewise, we'll definitely have a chat.
How's the trading going?
Really good, mate. Really good. The stream's we've been killing it. Again, a lot of patience and discipline. We've had weeks where we don't get a lot of opportunities, and we've had weeks, you know, where we trade pretty much every day, and sometimes there's multiple opportunities. But all in all, win rate has been fantastic.
Good to hear.
Yeah, been going well. Blake, your strategy is margin call hunter. Nice one. It's a good strategy. Trade Xeon. Is it XAUUSD? This is GJ, but I prefer to trade gold. Keeping buying it. 3010 easily coming up. I think it's a no-brainer. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today or even this week, but yeah, I'm of the belief it's going to continue on its merry way. Yeah, man, all good. Just chilling, just waiting for my opportunity. I'm wondering why the music takes so long to load. Finally found playlists that I can just download any track and not get a, well, I think I don't get a strike for it. It's from YouTube. It's your own library, so Travis Xeon. What happened today? Good. Yeah, I don't want to weigh on gold, just to pull back in a moment. Potentially also buys about 29.94.2 to be exact. Is there any margin above? No, there isn't. It's about 12 pips. Yeah, this rate I'm waiting for the pullback. We're stuck in a range, making some pretty clean moves within it, but I'm not looking to sell it. Nor do I actually have any real strong confirmation to sell it. I mean, the 30 doesn't look half bad. If this closed strong bearish, that does resemble a evening star pattern. The close strong bearish. But again, my bias on Monday, I'm more fixated on a bias. What I suggest is for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, once we've had at least a full day of data print, be fluid in the market. So you've seen on stream, I've been looking for a buy, and then 15 minutes later, I've been in a sell based off one candle. But again, just Monday and Friday, I prefer to trade Monday in line with the strength of the previous weekly and the actual structure itself and bias. Friday in line with the strength of the current weekly at that point. Get some interesting comments on TikTok. 30 pips from 2980. Yeah. Bombay FDM. You need to buy because I'm selling. That's a good one. There we go. Full margin. Tari seems gold and GJ are doing the same. At the moment, yeah, very similar. Good to see some of the same names, by the way. Appreciate the support, you guys on TikTok as well. Just wait for pre-market. Trade Xeon. USA start. Maybe it will be before US pre-market. Break 13.3 today. Then 30.2 is fixed. Yeah, we'll see. Potentially a lot of water to go under the bridge just yet, but wait and see. So GJ has tapped into that support and bounced straight off it, so that would be where the counter trend sell could potentially present, which I'm not interested in personally taking myself today. But if we continue to respect levels previously formed on the way up, then we're more likely to continue up. The issue is we're running into we're at some higher time frame resistance currently. So for me, it's a matter of where to look for a buy from. The fact of the matter is, the more data we print, the more choppy it becomes in the current area. Less likely that I'm going to be looking for a buy at 192.50. Potentially could look for a buy at 192.390 or 400. That is some 15-minute support. Otherwise, 192.20 and 192.10. Bombay above 94 today. You believe? Okay. By the way, YouTube, I put out a poll in the YouTube. Do we think we'll actually continue and close above 3,000, or are we going to make a bit of a pullback by the end of the week? I think we'll be above, but anything could happen. This is based on the overall bias and structure and all that. Trade Xeon. Anyways, bro, remember, if it happened, take care. Going to live streaming on. Oh, it's gonna be someone. All good, all good. I mean, gold's in a massive uptrend. Anyone could say it's going to whatever level. I remember I called 3,000 from early last year or mid last year. I was calling for 3,000. I said it's gonna happen. It's a matter of time. And I'm of the belief 5,000. Not this year. I mean, it could happen this year, but I very much doubt it. 5,000, and I really think 10k is, again, that's could happen in years to come, but it's gonna happen. That's my personal opinion. I think silver will also be worth a lot more than what it is today. Dunny? No, I don't. Franco, more into you, brother. So everything's going the opposite direction at the moment to where I want to get involved. Daniel, 100%, I appreciate it. Yep, that's one big reason. That's a really big reason, to be honest. It's not so much the gold itself is going, it's just the value of currencies continuing to go down. It's not just the US dollar, it's across the board. Currencies are worthless. I mean, inflation, no matter what they say, is through the roof. Absolute crock of shit. They say it's, you know, a couple %. Prove it. How? I've mentioned before, personally, I believe why anyway do they target 2%? It should be 0. That should be the target. But it's never going to be, because they keep replacing certain items each month. So, I mean, they could chuck in any item that's actually gone down in price, as opposed to everything else which has gone up, and say inflation's down based off the median, which is a crock of shit. Donny, what I prefer to trade for is I just do. It's just what I do, to be honest. No real reason, I suppose. Harry, I think you mean gold. To buy it. It's just a matter of where on the pullback, or potentially above 29.94.20. But I would definitely prefer to buy it. Sketchmas, welcome to you. And once again, to the new followers, I appreciate it. He fits. What would you do? I'm in a trade, but it's late and I need to sleep. Do I stay away, or if it were me, I wouldn't let the charts dictate what I do away from the chart. So if sleep's a massive one, I would not trade personally. That's one of the main reasons why I don't even, at this time of year anyway, I don't bother with NY much at all, because it's the opens. It's actually at 11 p.m. at the moment, as opposed to midnight before the clock's changed. Soon it will be 10 p.m, which is better for me. And that's when I'll be a little bit more interested in, or willing to look at the charts a bit. But I don't want to be a slave to the charts. I choose a couple hours a day. If I get something fantastic, less is more. If I don't, maybe it's for a reason. Yeah, that's me personally. Because the other thing you got to think about is if you're tired and you're not focused properly, you may try to force it because you've been waiting a couple hours for something to present. And if you take a loss, you're in a shit mood, you know, it interrupts your sleep, things like that. That's what it used to do to me. Again, that's why I had to really just come up with some steady, solid rules and stick to it. One of those was to not let the charts dictate me and don't sit there for hours and hours. If it's rules, that's it. So personally for me, I wouldn't take the trade. Or if I was in a trade and you're safely in some profit, I'd just either cut the whole thing and profit, or at least just get to break even. Alright, so what I want to say on gold, we've tapped into a little bit of minor resistance we have previously formed on the daily candle pullback, the current daily candle. Now we're still technically bullish on the daily, we're printing a bullish candle. I don't need to wait for some sort of catalyst now, and I've got to determine whether I've got the margin to take a buy back up. So what I'm seeing is we do respect this resistance. What would be better for me if I was looking to get involved, if this candle closed bearish as is, or weaker bearish, whatever, and that was to be followed by maybe something like so, bullish engulfing M15, all that will do is close the M30 pretty much looking like that, after tapping into this resistance, rejecting it, leaving a long wick to the downside, suggesting we've grabbed some liquidity from the downside. All I need is a tiny lower wick, and that could be an entry to take it back up towards the most recent resistance at 29.90 sort of level. So that's something I could potentially be looking at, but still need to wait a fair bit of time for that. But it looks like I would have the margin. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Tramps can't explain no support and resistance levels, so it's basically just the 4 hour at the moment. Usually I would add some levels in between. Just the 4 hour, but I've adjusted them according to the minor time frame. So I mean, this level really should be up to that point. Go back to the 4 hour. I mean, it should be up even higher. It should be up to that point there, but it makes for a massive zone. And I know either way I'm not interested in selling it into this support, so I'm happy to keep it where I had it originally. And basically I can look for anywhere to buy it really above these lows, to be honest, above the support. So it is the 4 hour levels just adjusted. Normally I'd have levels in between, but there's no point at this rate because we've got support just above support. I can just eyeball it. If we tap into this level and form right confirmation, I could buy it from just above the gray zone. Above the resistance is just not enough margin, but I would normally have a level there had I had the margin. But there's no point because I'm not looking to buy it upon continuation at this rate. I'm looking to buy it on the pullback. So it's GJ, similar thing. 4 hour levels that are grey levels, 30-minute levels that are the blue. 30-minute aren't as significant, but you still need to be wary of them. Once again, we've bounced off that support and we do remain above it. So DJ a little bit awkward at the moment, and gold still making a bit of a pullback. Nothing just yet, guys. Back to matrix, great lower high. What's that? Gold. Oh, it just depends on the 15. You can always create a higher high. In a 30, yes. Lower high. Oh. Been a long weekend, guys. Been a busy one. Hope you guys had a good one. Look at GU. That looks a mess, actually. Let's not look at it. Wow. Very ugly. How about EU? Yeah, much the same, maybe a little bit cleaner. And that weekly close. Long upper wick. Maybe it's exhausting. Close right at the resistance. Yeah, got some ugly charts here, guys. Wow. EU and EU. EU looks a bit better, but it is quite bullish. Bullish on so far all the time frames I've looked at. It's just breaking in support though. Still an hour and 20 minutes for the confirmation. Pretty much, it's one big level to be honest. Let's focus on the most recent and mark that in for the time being. As far as resistance, mark that in for the time being. Just on 30. Much more we can do with it, to be honest. Yeah, it's bullish across the board. This is a tough one, so I prefer to buy it on the pullback. The only other clean level is above 109.14. So are we going to respect and continue to remain above this support? Previous resistance could turn as support. We'll have to wait and see.
How many candles would you consider before it makes resistance?
Well, as far as minor resistance, one will suffice. Even the 4 hour. Just gonna have obviously an impulse up that is a counter's created resistance. I mean, I would have had it just here. I would have had it just there prior to that. So all you need is that one candle.
Right.
Now, if we're creating an impulse within the range, for instance, let's say we're coming from these lows, and we've got clean traffic to the left, and we have this one little pause, and with next resistance, for instance, let's just pretend this isn't there. The next level is this. Then
Right.
what you could do is, I don't tend to straight away mark in that level unless we make maybe another, I'd say probably 2 candles in answer to your question, is probably the best way to go about, because what I do is I rather just leave that as is and not add that zone, and see if the next candle can close either right at the high or preferably engulfing. Then I can look for the continuation buy, whether it be potentially on a limit order back at the high of that bearish candle, or on a continuation buy. So yeah, so probably a couple candles is the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I thought more two or three.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
But it all depends to the left. So obviously now I've got, yeah, as you can see, multiple candles. So definitely confirms we've got some more minor resistance within the actual 4-hour range. No, all good. Of these tunes takes about 20 seconds for it to load the next track. All right, so once again, I still don't have any confirmation to give you guys any sort of counter trend entry, irrespective of whether I take it or not. What I would need to see is that weak pause candle, similar to what I just mentioned, to the upside, and I want it to close closer to its low than its high, and that could potentially present continuation sell, but that is not near on the table at the moment. It's still gotta wait. It's nowhere near it. GJ is just struggling at the current level. So all we do is chill, sit, kick back, beat up, enjoy each other's company, and wait. "15 minutes until the session open." So we'll see. See if this candle closes weak bullish, then I'll give you guys the option. Dictari, what about you, Jay? Should add it to the watch list. All right, so what about it? Let's take a look at it, and let's remove drawings from last time. Start the weekly, and line ball, it looks like it's a weak closure. It's probably closed from the open to the highest point, probably closed just below the 50 or around the 50. Pretty much right on by the looks of it. It's actually just above it, so technically I'd have to call it strong bullish. Open with a bit of a gap to the upside. Looks like I may have popped back down to it. So if it breaks like that previous weekly candle, good chance it could continue further into that previous weekly. Now, looking at daily, it does remain bearish in structure. By the looks of it, yep. Making a bit of a pullback. Still looks better above that weekly high though. Onto the 4-hour. That is definitely bullish in structure, but it has rejected resistance a few times. This level it's at, it's a pretty strong level of resistance, so that's likely where we need to be above to look for some continuation buys. As far as the most recent support, we've got at this point here 148 to 50 to 350, so we're technically bullish in structure but at resistance, so that's in line. We can use that as our confluence for any potential sells, along with the daily structure, and yeah, the daily structure and weekly being bullish. Now the 30-minute, that also appears to be bullish. All right, so where the structural flip is this point here. a closure below will confirm where you have flipped the structure. Issue is you're running straight into some more support. I mean, it could be some sells below that point there. That's probably the catalyst I'd be waiting for just now. But seeing the bias is, so we've got the 30-minute bullish, we've got what I mentioned, daily was bearish, 30 bullish, 4 hours bullish, and as is the weekly. So the bias is bullish. Again, Monday I would need to look for the buys, and it would be from support at this rate to really around that 148.560 upon the pullback, or above 149.332 by the looks of it. But the counter trend option, again, personally I won't be taking it, may present below most recent support 148.796. Lines up that psychological number 149.80. So what you want to wait for is definitely closure below, retest, continuation. No impulse entries. Things in a big uptrend, you need to wait for the stronger confirmation of the closure below. Tricky at the current level to buy it. You're buying it into 4-hour resistance. Yeah, that's my opinion of it. I just wait for the pullback, to be honest. It's not really offering much at the moment. Nice clean pullback on gold. That's all good. Means we've got a pretty clean range, so trades are more probable in clean ranges. Daniel, GJ flips up, would buy a bit on the cards. Still not for me. I mean, there's no, you're buying it into consolidation. Yeah, I think just chill, man, personally. Still best above 192.85, and even then there's no guarantees, because I mean, it's never a guarantee. But what I mean by there's no guarantees is there's no guarantees you'll have a valid entry, because it may close a little bit too high up and you don't have margin to buy at that point. Buying it at the 4-hour resistance, it's just no point. But for me, that's still the best. If we are to form support just now, head back up, that's the best bet. Franco, G, yeah, G looks terrible. I mentioned that before. Really bad. I suppose the one thing you got is 30 appears to be bearish, and you a little bit of clean traffic below this low. Let's mark it in, see what it actually, if it is a daily low or no. It's just hard because you're selling it into, look at that, selling it into 4-hour support. So it's the current daily low. Yeah, G does look really bad, to be honest. It's only all good, mate, all good. Tommy Lee, no, not from Raja Banks. It's a concoction of what I learnt from 8 years of trading experience, being involved in 2 trading groups, and definitely none of those were Raja Banks. He could be a really good trader. I don't know the guy personally. I know he does well for himself, so whatever he does works. But whoever says it's the same, it's far from it. It is not the same at all. He's very impulsive, and he doesn't have rules like well, not the same rules, not at all. Nor does he have the arsenal or toolbox that I have to get involved in trades. But again, who am I to judge? He's probably in sales right now and he's making good money from it. So again, I just do me. Everyone should just do their own thing. Tommy, trade prop firms? No, not props. No, I've had experience with one that don't wish upon anyone. Still pisses me off about it, but yeah. Mentioned it many times. Vax, you're a good man. W man. Tommy, thank you, mate. Yeah, it's just true. I mean, don't know the bloke personally to really comment. Know a few things of him, but again, you know, he does well for himself, so who am I to comment? Dina, what's my strategy? A.C.T. Analyze, confirm, trade. That's what it stands for, and that's what I do. Analyze based off a few different time frames, which gives me a general bias. Drawing my zones based off 4 hour and M30. Plan where I want to get involved in a trade, and then patiently wait for price to get to that level, and have many different rules. And each trade is individual and unique. So I need to, in accordance to how we approach that level and where we are on the chart, need to determine what is the most suitable rule at that point in time to look for my potential entry. That's exactly what I do. Very simple, very strict and disciplined, and that's what works for me. Might not work for other people. I know it definitely does for some. I've had experience of seeing progress really well, but it's definitely not for everyone. Because the fact of the matter is, most people don't have the patience and discipline to do it. All right, GJ, bouncing. Many people would have been trying to sell that. Look at it just now. Big uptrend. I mentioned be very risky to look for to sell. What did I mention too? You need to wait for definitely a closure blow, retest. That's the only decent counter entry, but still, it's not, in my books, a good entry. And look at it now. Respecting that support. Using what point am I waiting to pull back on gold? Well, it's in a big uptrend, so it could really form support anyway, and I'd be keen to buy it if I got the right confirmation. Let's look at a 30. I mean, it would be nice for it to actually make the move back down to 29.82. So I could mark that in to tap into that point, but we don't necessarily need to. Yeah, Zune, Roblox. I don't know, man. That's I'm not gonna be held responsible for anyone when it comes to yeah, throwing money at the roulette wheel. It made me giggle. So that's cool. Not even sure if I can read that out because I might get banned. I'm scared to read out. But TikTok, it's yeah, it's on there for you guys to read. Not sure where you're based, but I know here in Oz there's plenty of casinos around. CMN. What is this pair? This is gold. Spot gold. SD says can buy. Well, the general direction for me would be to buy it. My trouble is new people getting into trading. That's a 98% of people's outlook. Yeah, to be honest, a lot of people follow the wrong people. And they believe too much of what they see and read. What I would recommend is, I go wrong watching someone trade live, and you can decide for yourself whether it's something you think you can make work or give it a go. At least there's transparency. It's not just IG reels and all that crap. CMN again. Analyze, confirm trade, as per the name. But Quinton, please share what you are waiting gold, and have you not just yet waiting for really a signal within price action to buy it. Preference would be for it to pop back down to this blue zone. Doesn't necessarily need to. Just waiting for a catalyst within price action. I prefer to buy it today in line with my rules on a Monday. Trade in line with the strength of that previous weekly candle and the bias, unless I have a catalyst to do otherwise, which I don't have. 30-minute structure to me is bullish. All the other time frames are bullish. Just need to wait for some sort of confirmation to look for a buy. That's very simple. That's what I'm waiting for. And so I really would prefer to see the 30 closing back with goal of strength to the downside on the 30-minute time frame. We'll see. Session open. We'll see where we are in the first after the first 15 minutes. Mode I trade NAS? No. I traded it once and that was a winning trade. Sticking to that 100% win rate of NAS. Flawless. But look, it's something I will look at more, seeing the clocks will be changing here and time will be more suitable for me to trade that session. But for the time being, no. I do analyze it though for my guys, because some I know do look at it. But like I mentioned before, bullish engulfing would be nice in a 15. The difference with if it happened now without session open is the fact that we won't have a 30 closing back bullish. So I did mention up here, if we had a bearish candle followed by bullish engulfing, that would have closed 30 bullish leading into the London Open. And I would have had a double catalyst. I would have had 15-minute bullish engulfing coupled with a 30-minute bullish candle confirming support above previous resistance. It's riskier based off just one 15-minute candle. It's much riskier. But again, it's very early into the week. There's no stress. Like I said last week, I come to the charts wanting it to show me why I should trade. Not hunting a trade. The wrong attitude in my opinion, Zab. YouTube, how's it going, guys? You guys are awfully quiet. There's not even 5-minute resistance or anything that look for a closure above the 5-minute resistance back up at the swing point, the 15-minute level. So the fact of the matter is, I don't really have any sort of catalyst. DJ attempting to make the move now. All right, so may be clearing this consolidation. So again, it would definitely not have been a valid entry for me. Doesn't mean it's for someone else it's not, and well done if anyone is currently selling GJ. But for me, I like that candle, but for it to be valid, and first of all, if it was with the structure, it would have had to have formed below like this. Below that support. because that would suggest we grab liquidity from that consolidation again, but we've managed to remain. The sellers have pushed it back below that support. What likely would be would follow would be a tiny upper wick, maybe back into the consolidation, and then just breaks and melts. Let's see how it reacts to the level it's currently at. Thank you for all the new followers, guys, on TikTok. I appreciate it. So I try to stream daily. I mean, Fridays I haven't of late, but eventually I will start back up on a Friday as well. And I, without doubt, the best education is on this stream. Kim, I am. Your price action at predetermined levels. Exactly right. That's what I want to see. I want to see my signal based off price action. So yeah, so welcome. The Tari seems UJ is heading to your area. UJ, let me look at it again. Yeah, potentially, but again, it's in a pretty solid uptrend. So for me, there is no catalyst to sell it. Bit better than GJ for to sell. If anyone did take an impulse entry, again, just simply following rules. What I would have needed to see to consider a counter, well, to consider the sell. First of all, would prefer it was bearish, seeing it's on Monday. Second of all, I have a simple rule. Very simple to follow. And that is for the impulse entry from the highest point of the zone. So that is the start of the 30-minute support to the lowest point. If I'm to look for an impulse entry, I want my catalyst candle to close below 50%. Very simple rule. Upper wick on the following candle, then entry. And again, it's like a video game at that point. So it's either valid or not. There are circumstances where I may still take it without that confirmation. This is free education, guys. So it pens out whatever it is. That's if. So we're close where we're at. It pops straight down at the open. There is absolutely no upper wick. I'm not sending an entry. I'm not taking an entry as it breaks. What I'm then doing is waiting for my number one confirmation. Pull back to create the upper wick. As soon as I have that, seeing a sell stop back below, knowing that I'm safe, because if we are just to pull back into the range above, form support, I'm just not triggered into the trade. It's fine. Might end up like this, and who cares because I'm not involved. No loss, nothing. But I know for, there's a good chance that if price was to reject the range above, once again, what we've likely done by tapping back into it is grabbing liquidity from that range and seeing we've got that lower wick already formed. If we were to continue bullish, there is no need to pull back and break our own low. And if we do so, likely got enough liquidity from above to make the move back down. Clean traffic to the left. That is one of my strongest entries. I love when it happens. So I don't think that presented here, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I think I give away probably too much on these streams, to be honest. I know a lot of you appreciate it. I know some couldn't care less, and that's fine. All good. Kim, are you trading a market session also in? Not sure what you mean by that. You mean New York session? Not really, if that's what you're asking.
Hey, Justin.
Bill, g'day mate, how are you?
Good day. Alright, how about you?
It's all good? Yeah, good man, good. Just quiet. Charts aren't really offering me anything.
How, anything to say?
No, nothing at all. Preferring to, well, I want to buy Gold and GJ, but they're both struggling at the moment. I mean, GJ keeps popping down and back up, so glad I haven't taken any counter and sell. And Gold, to me, there's no signal just yet to buy it, but yeah, just waiting. How about you?
Nothing as well. I was looking to buy some EJ, but it just rejected the high.
Yep.
Maybe if it gets above, if it gets above maybe 162, 250 like that,
Yep.
then above those highs there, it would be good.
Yeah, it looks better. Yeah, it's a little bit of track to the left, but it's a strong catalyst nonetheless.
Yeah, it's been rejecting that high now. I think it's rejected it now twice. So let's see what happens along the day. Also, EU on the other hand, it's a little bit
Well, it's ugly.
in really bad position.
It's, yeah,
At the moment, yeah.
it's the same as GU, it's just a mess. Very choppy price action.
GU is even worse.
Yeah, it is. We were talking about it before. About to analyze it, I'm like, nah, forget it. I'm not analyzing that. It's just stay away. That's all I can say.
Yeah, there is absolutely nothing to analyze this. Just to stay away from it.
Yeah, but
Let
all
it create some clean mode.
correct.
Clear out through that copy area, and then you can look for a reset or something.
Yeah, but all I would mention on it is has been a pretty strong uptrend, so maybe it's a time where it just consolidates for a while and could continue with the uptrend once it has enough liquidity, or could make a deeper pullback. Yeah.
I think it's literally the same with the EU, because last a week before last,
Yeah, it's
it
just
had
been
that
flying.
really strong move to the upside, and then the whole of last week it was just a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, Bruno's just said it in the chat as well. Members chat. Yeah, that's what I could be doing right now. Could just be taking a breather. Can't always trend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just patience. That's it.
Oh, really, nothing today. Let's see how it's maybe in NY something might show up.
Yeah, into pre-MY,
No.
potentially.
Yeah.
Looks to be the best bet at the moment, but yeah, we'll see. There's no stress, no hurry. What you put? What exchange? I can't mention it because I don't want to get strike. Strong rejection. Yeah, at the moment. SJC Riss. SJ Chris. You giving signals? No, it's not a signal. It's not a signal service, mate. I educate. It's for education. If I see fit and I see there's a quality option, I will take it and call it, but it's not signal service. Sid Thompson. No, you can't promote anyone else's group in this chat. Otherwise you get the block. It's very simple. I mentioned it multiple times. Deloki, trouble is nowadays people don't want to listen and learn. They want to be told when to buy and and when to sell. 1 million in their first 100%. Everyone wants it the easy way, and it's fine. Look, I've been through that too, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as long as you're following a decent trader who knows a bit about what they're doing. But yeah, it's best to fish for yourself, to learn to fish for yourself. I learned that. I learned hard way. I spent a fortune on signals when I started. Got absolutely wrecked. Problem with signals, and especially with scalping, is a little bit more difficult in my opinion, because most of the time you're waiting for that split second for the right confirmation, especially the way I trade, for a valid entry. And I've been part of a signals group and I did really, really well, but to be honest, it was a pain because sometimes this signal was sent and the entry was literally 10 seconds later, and I knew 99% of the people in the group wouldn't have been able to get involved. But I did try to update what we're looking at, like closure above at this point, whatever, and retest entry. But the fact of the matter is, people are just going to wait for the actual entry point, complete signal itself, and not interested at all in, you know, what it's based on and how they could get involved themselves without missing it. So it's very difficult, very difficult. Swing trades are a bit different. I'm not a swing trader. I don't like swing trade. It's not for me. Bruno, thank you for teaching such concrete rules-based trading. People don't know how much they are saving by them taking mad, reckless trades. Top man, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it, support. You can save money following your trade rules. Well, that's what I want. That's what I'm seeing. I know a lot of people have progressed because they've understood the importance of it, of having these rules and just sticking to them. CJ Chris, you made 10% of your account not happy. Well, mate, you're in trading for the wrong reason if that's the case. This is just the honest truth, mate. Don't want to be emotional about it. If you're consistent, you're making money, that's the main thing. That's good. Don't get emotional about it. Don't chase it, because you're likely gonna get wrecked if you're not happy with what you got. Gudo, which pair looks clean? Gold. It's making some clean moves, but I'm preferring to buy it. I don't have any confirmation to do so, not at all. I'm just going based on experience, because CJ Chris, man, I had a day, and I've said this many times, TikTok wouldn't have heard it as much. I had a day probably about 5 years ago where I was chasing, it came Friday, I was up 8.5% for the week, and I thought, right, I've got to get to the 10%. So unless I get to 10%, not happy. Should have been happy. 8.5 is a pretty good week by any stretch of imagination as a scalper. First trade was a loss, all good, I'll get it back. Second trade, another loss. Then the emotions really start to kick in. I'm alright, not having any of that. Gonna double risk, double down. And at that point, I had 500 to 1 leverage here in Oz. This is one of the reasons why they changed it to 1 to 30, because too many people were blowing accounts and all that. But this way, by the end of it, I ended up the week minus 1.5%. So I lost 10% for the day. I was chasing 1.5 to get to 10%. I lost 10% for the day. One of the worst weekends of my life. Let that be said. I learned very hard from it, and since then things have changed. It took me that to change things. So don't be greedy. Last thing I want to hear is you guys getting wrecked because you were chasing a figure. Chase a quality. Don't even chase. Like I said, let the market come to you and trade a quality entry only. The Loki goal chasing that 1.9. I think you mean 2.982. Yep, it could well be chasing that level or even lower. Macomb Bisatati. Yeah, weekend was fine, man. Thank you for asking. Hope yours was good. Kudo, taking trade now? No, there is no confirmation for me to take a trade. And look at GJ. Once again, why I won't count a trend trade, especially on the Monday. Especially on the Monday, without a really strong confirmation. There's no closure below. Keeps respecting support here. Bruno, if anything, JJ will give the best confirmation you're buying. Well, yeah, it could eventually, but at the moment, yeah, it's going to be above that point. It continues like this, but like I said, who knows exactly? Remains to be seen. So based off that note, guys, I'm not going to get anything just now. Just one thing I will mention, just moving forward, because I do end these streams not too long after London Open, but when the clocks do change for UK, first of all, I think your clock goes forward at the end of this month. The week later, our clocks here in southeastern Oz go back an hour. I will stay on a bit longer, so longer into the London Open, I mean, because it's much better for me time-wise. So don't stress it. We definitely learn a lot. Not every day is a training day. Yeah, appreciate everyone for joining. If you have not done so, TikTok, make sure to follow. I shall be on again tomorrow around the same time, and we'll see what we can come up with. Moving forward, what I'd be looking at is potential buys, whether it be from 29.82 or lower down. Really, I just want to see it respect. You'd want it above 29.80 in my opinion, but as long as it respects 29.76, it form a little bit of structure within the zone. Could be options, but I prefer to buy it back above, in all honesty. Sells, in my opinion, you need that catalyst. Let it close below, confirm strong a structure flip on a 30, and you've got clean traffic below that point. It's much more probable. And that's pretty much it. On Gold GJ, still the best option is above, but again, you may not have the margin to buy it into the 4-hour resistance, or buys upon the pullback. Very simple. That's about it. Yeah, once again, guys, appreciate it all for joining. Nothing today, but we learnt a lot. And take care, trade safe. Bye, guys. I will keep you posted. I'll be on probably about an hour from now. Thank you for joining. And yeah, on the stream for you guys now. TikTok, thank you. Take care. Catch you tomorrow. And YouTube, once again, appreciate the few who always join me. You guys rock. You know where it's at. It's not always about trading. Yeah, but I appreciate the support. I've tried to get numbers up. Nothing seems to be working on it. But we'll keep trying. I'm not going to give up. To give up is the easy option. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one. YouTube, I'll catch you guys also tomorrow. Nothing for you today, Carl. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, but all good. Cheers, guys. See you then. Bye for now.